Day 2 of the BRICS Summit in Brazil, the president took time to respond to developments at home. This is what he had to say on the allegations made by the police commissioner in KwaZulu-Natal.
Obviously, it is a matter that I will be dealing with when I get home. I will need to look at it more closely and have a thoroughgoing discussion with a number of people, and thereafter there will be a clear way forward. This is not a matter that we should not give attention to. It is a serious matter. It has to do with the security of our people, but it also has to do with our adherence to the rule of law. The police play a critical role in enhancing the rule of law, the safety of South Africans, and that those who have done wrong should be dealt with, and should be dealt with thoroughly in terms of our constitution and our laws.
Turning to the BRICS, the president says the summit was a success.
We've had a really successful BRICS summit here in Brazil. President Lula, President of the Republic of Brazil, organized this summit rather excellently. And we also appreciated the fact that they invited other outreach countries to be part of this. And we keenly observed and appreciated the interest that is growing around the world, particularly in the global south, towards BRICS.
On U.S. President Donald Trump's threats to punish BRICS members and countries that are supporting the group with an additional 10% import tariff, after they criticized his trade policies, President Ramaphosa says this should not deter BRICS from implementing the resolutions taken at this summit.
There needs to be greater appreciation of the emergence of various centers of power in the world, as the declaration observed. And this should be seen in positive light rather than in a negative light. It should be seen as improving the governance of the world and enhancing good processes and policies that should help the development of humanity as a whole. So BRICS is such a center of power. And BRICS does not seek to compete with any other power. It recognizes the importance and the standing of other centers of power. It recognizes the standing of the United Nations and respects that, and subjects itself to the decisions of the United Nations. And it also recognizes the standing of a body like the G20. And so these powers should be seen as complementary, as advancing the interests of people. And so when a declaration, a beautiful declaration like the one that we adopted, should be seen in that it is beautiful and it is aimed at enhancing the interests of people globally. So there should never be vengeance, there should never be retribution against countries that are seeking to cooperate together and to advance the interests of humanity. There is nothing negative in the declaration, and there is everything about advancing the interests of various countries in the world, if not all, and the interests of people in the world, so that we leave no one behind.
The group has also supported the expansion of the BRICS New Development Bank, which includes Algeria as the newest member.
If there's one thing President Cyril Ramaphosa made crystal clear before leaving Brazil, it's that the days of looking the other way on corruption might just be numbered. With the sun setting on the 17th BRICS Summit in Rio de Janeiro, the president didn't just wrap up international business, he turned the spotlight right back home to one of South Africa's most pressing problems: corruption. Speaking to the media just before boarding his flight back to South Africa, Ramaphosa addressed the explosive claims made by KwaZulu-Natal Provincial Police Commissioner, Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. Mkhwanazi recently dropped a political bombshell, alleging that certain senior police officials were knee-deep in corruption, and that the rot might even reach as high as the police minister himself. Ramaphosa didn't shy away. Calm, composed, but firm, he told the world that no one, no matter their rank or title, is above the law. If you're involved in corrupt activities, you must face the consequences. Simple, direct, and coming from the head of state, those words carry weight. Now, let's be clear. This wasn't just a case of lip service. Ramaphosa knows the stakes. Public trust in law enforcement has taken a hit over the years, with scandal after scandal chipping away at confidence in the system. The president understands that if South Africa is to restore faith in its institutions, action needs to follow words, and fast. What makes this moment so significant is its timing. These comments came just after an intense week of global diplomacy. The BRICS Summit wasn't just about handshakes and photo ops. It was about challenging the global economic order, strengthening alliances among emerging powers, and reshaping the balance of influence. And right in the middle of that stage stood South Africa, led by Ramaphosa, pushing for reforms, trade opportunities, and global equity. So when the president took a hard stance on corruption, he wasn't just addressing South Africans, he was also sending a message to the international community. South Africa is serious about good governance. It's serious about rooting out internal decay. And it's ready to deal with its problems head-on, even when those problems are wearing uniforms and sitting in high places. But let's not forget, the president also spoke about the successes of the BRICS Summit itself. From energy cooperation to trade expansion, climate resilience to infrastructure development, the summit covered a lot of ground. Ramaphosa emphasized South Africa's role in promoting inclusive growth within BRICS, highlighting the need for collaboration over competition. And there was a notable call to action: reform of the United Nations Security Council. Ramaphosa, echoing a long-standing African Union stance, argued that it's time for Africa to have a permanent seat at the global decision-making table. The current system, he said, doesn't reflect the realities of today's world, and BRICS, with its collective voice, must push for fairness and representation. But despite all the global talk, it was the local issue of corruption that stole the headlines. South Africans are tired of inquiries that lead nowhere, tired of politicians playing hot potato with accountability, and tired of seeing whistleblowers silenced while the corrupt walk free. Ramaphosa's promise to act on Mkhwanazi's allegations might just be the most important commitment of his trip, not to foreign leaders, but to the people of South Africa. Because at the end of the day, building a better South Africa starts with cleaning house at home. So, will this be the beginning of a serious anti-corruption crackdown? Will the president's strong words be followed by swift justice? That remains to be seen. But one thing's certain, he's raised the bar. And now, the whole country, and the world, is watching. Let's hope those watching from within the corridors of power are paying attention. Because the message is clear: corruption, your time is up.